Hello students, now we are going to start with the skeletal muscle. So in the last video we have seen the characteristics of the muscle in general and the functions and the type of attachment. In this video we are going to see in detail what is skeletal muscle, how they are present in our body, what are the locations, what is the structure and what is the mechanism of contraction to a little part, because mechanism of contraction we have to study in a different chapter. So in that chapter we will study in detail how the contraction in molecular basis occurs. In this video only we will see just the introduction of the muscle contraction, skeletal muscle contraction. So first of all, let's just see the skeletal muscle, how actually it is present. Okay, so just see, first thing, this skeletal muscle, if I need to show you how actually the skeletal muscle look like, always need to remember the skeletal muscles, they are cylindrical and unbranched. Okay, so they are cylindrical and unbranched structure, right? So this is the first thing. So one thing, why it is known as skeletal muscle, this skeletal muscle comes actually from the skeletal system. So this muscles actually will attach to the skeleton, the bones, every bone of our body. Okay, so this skeletal muscle, why it is named skeletal muscle? Because this muscle attached to the skeletal system of the body. Okay, so this is the first thing you need to know. They are attaching to the bones. And how they are attached to the bones, already I have told you, it is with the help of the tendon, or it can be the direct attachment also, where the membrane of the bone and membrane of the muscle can fuse. Okay. Second thing, that this muscle, this skeletal muscle, they are cylindrical, right? That is unbranched. You have not seen any branch or any subdivisions arise from it. So it is cylindrical, unbranched. Okay. Third characteristics you need to know, that it is multinucleated. Okay. Multinucleated, that means one cell have more than one nucleus, right? So this is very much important. We have one term also, that is multinucleated cell. What is that? That is syncytial. Okay, so what is the meaning of syncytial? That this muscle cell, this have more than one nucleus. Normally one cell have only one nucleus. Now in this case, skeletal muscle, this is going to have more than one nucleus. So that's why it is multinucleated. Also we can call syncytial. Okay. Fourth thing, we need to know that this nucleus, where it is located in the cell. Remember, it is going to be always peripheral. Okay, so that means the nucleus will present here. Okay, so here it is present on the periphery. Okay, this is suppose the muscle, on the periphery it is going to have the nucleus, right? This is very much important thing. It is peripheral nucleus. Next characteristics, in case of the skeletal muscle, this is voluntary. Okay, so what is voluntary characteristics? That according to our will, this muscle work. Okay, if you need to move your hand, you can. If you need to move your suppose eyelid, then also you can. Isn't that? You need to move suppose your hind limb, you can. So how this is possible? This is the skeletal muscle characteristics, that it is voluntary. That means according to our will, it can undergo contraction and relaxation. Okay, it is voluntary and according to will, it will able to work, right? This is very much important. Now one thing also is very much necessary to understand this, the skeletal muscle is actually can undergo fatigue very soon. Okay, so that means after walking, suppose half an hour or 1 hour, according to your capacity, you can run for 2 hours also. But after some time, this skeletal muscle will get fatigue. Okay, so it soon undergo fatigue. Okay, that means we get tired, right? So in simple word, it undergo fatigueness, or we easily get tired. So why this is happening, that why a muscle can undergo fatigueness? See what happens. Whenever it comes to our body, our cells undergo aerobic respiration, right? So whenever you are suppose sitting, you are suppose sleeping, at that time the muscles are getting that amount of oxygen which is sufficient. Okay, so that's why the muscles are working. Okay, now what happens, suppose if you are running, okay, suppose you are exercising, then that amount of oxygen we are getting normally, that is not efficient. Okay, so that the muscle, skeletal muscle can work, right? So that's why what happened, our rate of breathing increases, isn't it? That means we want to take more oxygen in it. Even that oxygen is not sufficient, then what will happen? Then also the skeletal muscle will work, but in absence of oxygen, this skeletal muscle start to work. Okay, that means the skeletal muscle will undergo anaerobic respiration, and whenever anaerobic respiration starts to occur, then what happens, there is a byproduct produced. And what is that byproduct? The byproduct is lactic acid, and this lactic acid will start to deposit on the muscle, right? Some of the lactic acid can be broken down in the muscle, but 4/5, if you take suppose percentage wise, then only 1/5 of the lactic acid can be broken down into the muscle, but rest of the 4/5 of the lactic acid will start to deposit, will start to accumulate in the muscle. Okay, so that's why after some time this lactic acid actually cause fatigueness and we get tired, okay, due to actually the deposition of lactic acid. What happened, that if this muscle start to undergo fatigue, then this lactic acid amount will start to increase. At one period of time, what happened, we completely have to take rest. Okay, so whenever we are resting, this lactic acid actually is moving from the skeletal muscle to the liver, and in the liver it starts to break down and produce the oxygen, it will produce water, carbon dioxide and energy. Okay, further breakdown, that means further breakdown of this lactic acid will not able to occur in the liver. It will go to the it will not able to undergo it is not possible that the lactic acid can break down in the skeletal muscle. It will go to the liver, and in the liver it will further break. Okay, so this is one important point. Why actually we soon undergo fatigue? Reason is when muscle starts anaerobic respiration. Okay, so whenever muscle undergo anaerobic respiration, then what happens, it produce lactic acid, and due to this lactic acid deposition, our muscle start to fatigue. Okay, and this lactic acid move to the liver and further it break. Okay, so that is the next point we need not to know now. Okay, so this is the reason why the muscles soon undergo fatigueness. Okay, next thing we need to know, this is one important thing, that the skeletal muscle, that is also known as striated muscle. Okay, so why it is known as the striated muscle? Why? Reason is that in case of the skeletal muscle, what we can see, alternate light and dark band. Okay, what is alternate light and dark band? Okay, so here actually just a color will start to appear. Okay, what is that color? Light color and dark color. Okay, now what is happening when there is a plane polarized light? Okay, so whenever a plane polarized light pass through the skeletal muscle, then what happen? This skeletal muscle will start to show some striations like black, then light. Once again, black means dark, light, dark, light, dark, light. This way alternate light and dark bands start to appear. Okay, so it just like a x-ray. Okay, so whenever plane polarized light is passing through this skeletal muscle or this striated muscle, what happened? It shows some bands, right? So what are those bands? Light band and dark band. Okay, what is the light band? This is the light band. Okay, and this one is the dark band. Okay, understand? This light band, it is also known as isotropic band. Okay, and this dark band, this is also known as anisotropic band. So that's why light band is also known as I band, and this dark band is also known as A band, right? One thing you need to know that in the light band and the dark band, we are going to have some definite proteins, and because of these proteins, if it absorbs the light, it appears that dark in color, and if it allows the movement or passing of the light, it will not going to stop the light passing through it, then it will appear light, right? So because of here in protein, so here we are going to have some protein, and because of the protein it appears dark and light, right? Understand? So yes, what is that? In case of the skeletal muscle, it shows striation while passing through plane polarized light, right? So whenever a plane polarized light pass through this muscle, then we will see, actually it shows light band, okay, or I band, okay, and dark band or A band. Okay, so that is about the skeletal muscle introduction. Now, one thing you need to know, the skeletal muscle, whenever we are talking about the skeletal muscle, now we need to use some terms. Suppose this is one cell of suppose skeletal muscle. So this cell, okay, so that will be one muscle fiber. Okay, so this muscle fiber is not actually, you don't think that it is a different fiber. No, this fibers, they're cylindrical, appear fibrous. So that's why what we can call this is actually the muscle fiber. But actually this one is the cell, right? So the plasma membrane, normally in case of the cell, the outer membrane is known as plasma membrane. Okay. Now, if it is in case of the skeletal muscle cell, what we are using? We are using another term. What is that? Sarcolemma. Okay. So one thing you need to know, that we are going to use some terms actually in case of this muscle, that this plasma membrane is known as sarcolemma. Right? Got it? Next one, if it is in case of suppose endoplasmic reticulum, okay, endoplasmic reticulum is present in the normal cell, and in case of the skeletal muscle, what we are using this term? Sarcoplasmic reticulum, right? And we normally call, in case of cell, normal cell, it is cytoplasm, the liquid present inside the cell where the microorganelles are suspended. What we can call it? Cytoplasm. Okay. But in case of skeletal muscle, what we are going to call it? We will call it sarcoplasm. Okay, we will call it sarcoplasm, right? So what is that? These are about some characteristics. one thing just remember, that to carry out contraction, this is one very much important point, that to carry out contraction, the muscle fiber needs calcium ion. Okay, calcium ion is needed, then only it is possible that the skeletal muscle can contract. Okay, this is one very much important point. So where this calcium ion is present, suppose the neuron give the stimulus. After giving the stimulus, how the muscle will contract, right? How the muscle will contract? It will because of what? Calcium ion inflow. And from where the calcium ion will inflow into the sarcoplasm, that is the cytoplasm, it will be from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so from the sarcoplasmic reticulum, SR or sarcoplasmic reticulum, what happened? Calcium ion will liberate and it will carry out, it will help or it will initiate the contraction process, right? So these are some characteristics you need to know. This is about just the points you need to know before understanding the internal structure. Okay. So after that, let's just move to the structure. First of all, you need to make a note. Okay. First of all, you have to see this, understand. Then after that, start to write. Okay. So let's just see the structure of the muscle. Now after that, let us see that how actually these are arranged in our body. Okay, so I will show that this is the skeletal muscle, so obviously it has to attach with the bone, right? So suppose this is one bone. Okay, so with that bone, what will happen? The muscle will attach, right? So this is the muscle, suppose. Okay, so normally what happened, this muscle, actually a number of muscles they are present. Okay, this is the muscle. Okay, now this muscle, see, whenever it comes to the muscle, it's a broader view actually. This muscle will be present in maximum more number, or it will be present only one. If it comes to only one muscle, then in very less area or in very limited region, only one muscle is present. Suppose if you take the example stapedius, I told about it, isn't the smallest muscle, that is stapedius, which is one. Okay, but normally the muscles, they are present in numbers. Okay, huge numbers of muscles are present together. Okay, multiple numbers. Now just see, this muscle will attach by whom? By the tendon. Okay, this is the tendon. You already got it. What is that? So this is the tendon. Okay. Now, if you need to see the muscle, what is present inside? Okay. Now, what will happen? We will take one section. Okay. Normally the muscles are present like this, suppose. Now we have to see like this. Okay, that means this muscle, whenever we will have a section, okay, then how it will appear. Okay, this is the muscle, suppose. Okay, so we have taken, this is the muscle, right? Okay, this is the muscle. Earlier it was appeared like this, lateral view. Now this is this view. Okay. Inside that muscle, so this is the muscle, right? Inside the muscle, what we will see, a number of bundles. Okay. We have taken only one bundle. Okay. So these are what? These are known as the muscle bundles. Okay, right. These muscle bundles, they are also known as fascicle. Okay, fascicles. Now, inside that muscle bundle, what is present? See, inside that muscle bundle, we are going to have numbers of smaller structures. Okay, what are they? These are the muscle fiber. Okay, so what is that? This will be the muscle fiber. So this muscle fiber is nothing but the cell, right? So this is the cell. So number of cells they are present. Okay, what are they? These are the muscle fibers, and inside the muscle fibers, what happened? We are going to have numbers of small filaments. Okay, so you can see actually inside the cells also what we are going to have, some filamentous structures. Okay, so what are those filaments actually? This will be this filament. Okay, right? What is that? This will be known as the myofilament. Okay, or simply filament, or also we can call it as the myofibril. Right? Now, you understand what is that? See, first of all, what you have to do, what you have to remember, how you have to remember that this is the muscle. Okay, in that muscle we have smaller bundles. What are those? These bundles, what we can call it? This will be known as the muscle bundles, right? Inside the muscle bundles, so see, this muscle bundle is also known as fascicle, right? Inside the muscle bundle, what we are going to have? Numbers of muscle fibers, right? Okay, inside the muscle fibers, what you have? We are going to have the myofibril. Understand? Okay, and what you need to know now? The structure of the myofibril, right? So first of all, draw this structure, how actually it will look like, and how this is the arrangement. One thing also you need to know, see, here this is the muscle, right? So these muscles will actually be present in numbers. Suppose a number of muscles they are present together. We have taken one muscle only, suppose. So that muscle will present together in another large bundle, and that will be known as the fascia. Okay, remember, numbers of muscles will be present together, that will be known as fascia. Inside that one muscle only, we have muscle bundle, that will be known as fascicles. Inside the muscle bundle or fascicle, we have the muscle fibers or the muscle cell, and inside the muscle fiber, what we have? We are going to have the myofibrils. Okay, just take a look. You need to know that thing very well. Okay. So understand this point. After that, just see, this is just a lateral view, right? Now, whenever we will have a transverse section, suppose we have seen right like this, okay, then how it will appear? So I will just draw. See, first of all, what we are going to have, the muscle fiber. Okay, so this is suppose the muscle fibers. This is one muscle fiber, this is another muscle fiber, this is another muscle fiber. So this muscle fibers, that will be covered by one membrane. Okay, what is that? That will be known as endomysium. Okay, so this muscle fiber, instead what they are going to have, this muscle fibers are going to have the myofilaments inside it, right? So around that muscle fiber, suppose this is the muscle fiber, right? So around the muscle fiber, what we are going to have? What we are going to have? One membrane. And what is that membrane actually called? This will be the endomysium. Now what is endomysium? This endomysium is nothing but the areolar connective tissue. And we know what is areolar connective tissue. Areolar connective tissue is nothing but the connective tissue proper or loose connective tissue. You know that what happened to the areolar tissue? Wherever we have the empty space, that will be filled up by this areolar tissue. So in between the suppose fibers, what we are going to have, the suppose these fibers have to be grouped, okay, by one membrane that will be known as the endomysium. Now this way we are going to have numbers of fibers, okay. These are the bundles of muscle fibers. What are they? These are all endomysium, isn't that? So inside that we have the muscle fibers, okay. Got it? Now this way, these fibers that will be covered by one another bundle, okay. So what is that? This one, okay. This one will be known as the perimysium, okay. So this way we are going to have numbers of perimysium. Understand? Inside the perimysium, what we are going to have? Perimysium is just a covering. We are going to have numbers of endomysium, isn't this endomysium, right? That covers the cells or the fibers, okay, muscle fibers, okay. Inside that we have the muscle fibers, okay. These are the cells. Like this. Oh, sorry. Okay. Now just see this perimysium. This is actually one covering. That covering is actually what? This is the dense, irregular connective tissue. Okay, dense irregular connective tissue, you know what is that? This dense irregular connective tissue is basically have more fibers in it. Okay, that is actually one thick fibrous covering, right? Now around this perimysium, we have numbers of perimysium together, and this perimysium will, suppose here around that we are going to have the last covering, okay. What is that? That will be known as the epimysium. Understand? Got it? You understand what is that? Epimysium is also one covering that will be known as the same dense irregular, this is irregular connective tissue, right? Now suppose we need to put this transverse section here, okay, then how actually it will appear, okay. So this is the covering, okay. So if I need to show that, suppose these are the fibers, right? So around the fibers, what are they? Around the fibers, what we are going to have? This is the endomysium, this covering, okay. This will be known as endomysium, okay. Endomysium will cover the muscle fiber or the cell. Now outside, see this numbers of muscle fibers, bundles, small bundles are present. What are those? This one, okay, this one. What is that? This one, this is the covering, right? What is that? What we can call it? Suppose this one is the covering, okay. This covering you want to see, then what will appear? This peeling, okay, that will be known as the perimysium. Understand? And around that, okay, we are going to have numbers of muscle bundles here, isn't? Whenever we have the section, okay, then what we will see inside, okay, what we are going to see, that this peel or this covering, this will be now known as, this one is the outermost lining. What is that? That will be known as the epimysium. Okay, remember what always this point, this epimysium and perimysium that are dense irregular connective tissue. Perimysium is also dense irregular connective tissue, right? Then after that, this endomysium, this is nothing but just the areolar connective tissue. Okay, now the innermost lining is endomysium. Okay, then numbers of endomysiums covering that will be covered by another membrane. What is that covering now? This is now little bit more fibrous. That will be the perimysium. Okay, that is a dense irregular connective tissue. The number of perimysium that will be covered by another lining, that will be also one dense irregular connective tissue. What is that? That will be epimysium, right? So that is all about the thing you need to know. Okay, so this myofibers, okay, these fibers are covered by whom? These fibers are covered by endomysium, bundles are covered by the perimysium, then muscles are covered by the epimysium. Okay, just remember that this is all about just the section. This is the transverse section, TS of a muscle. Okay, and this is the lateral view also, we can say this is the lateral view. On lateral view, what it will appear, it will be look like that. Okay, now inside one cell, okay, inside one muscle cell, this is the fiber. Muscle fiber is actually a cell, just like appearing fibrous like, so that's a muscle fiber. It's a cell actually. So in that muscle fiber, what we are able to find? We are able to find a number of filaments. Okay, they are known as myofilament or myofibril. Now our point of concentration should be this myofilament, okay, or this myofibril. Why? Because inside that myofibrils, what we are going to find? We are going to see alternate light and dark bands. Okay, so what are all those lights and dark bands? How actually it is present? Everything we will see in the next video. So till now, this is just the structure of the skeletal muscle, so that you can understand better way. That's all about the general view, okay, from outside. Now we are going to concentrate inside a cell. Inside one muscle cell, we are going to see those filaments, this proteinaceous filaments. So what those filaments will have? Some proteins. So we will concentrate on all those proteins. Actually the unit, functional unit of contraction, that will be known as sarcomere in the next video. Right, so we'll concentrate, we will start our video from this myofilament. Okay, so from where this myofilament have come, I will not tell you in the next video. So myofilaments are nothing but present inside the cell. Those cells are actually present, these fibers are present inside the bundles are present inside the muscles, and numbers of muscles, they are covered by one membrane, that bundle of the muscle itself. Okay, what will be that? That will be known as fascia. Inside the fascia, we have fascicles. Inside the fascicles or muscle bundle, we have muscle fiber. Inside the muscle fiber, what we have, this proteinaceous filaments, they are the myofibrils. So in next video, we'll start our video from the myofibrils. So that's all about the skeletal muscle structure only. Hope you have understood. That's all about it. Thank you.